everybody, welcome back. Today we're taking a look at a game that has quickly become one of my favorite shooters for the Sega Saturn, and that's Soukyugurentai, which was developed by Raizing and published by Electronic Arts in Japan only, first in arcades in 1996 and on the Saturn a year later, and it was also ported to the PlayStation. A release for North America was planned at one time under the title Terra Diver, but unfortunately for all concerned, it was cancelled. The game features a plot set in a future where huge corporations are warring for control over resources on both Earth and Mars. The game's 3 playable characters are pilots working for the Jinsei, the largest of these corporations with its headquarters in Japan, presumably the good guys. The gameplay in Soukyugurentai at first glance might look more or less like any other shooter from the mid or late 90s, but it actually feels like a hodgepodge of a number of different features from some of the better shooters of the day, and they fit together nicely. The overall feel gives me kind of a Donpachi or Batsugun vibe. It's a Maniac-style shooter that moves really fast and assaults you with a ton of enemies and bullets in every level. It's actually pretty tough, though you can adjust the difficulty if it's giving you too much trouble, as you do have limited continues. There are only 6 stages, but they do present quite a challenge. The Powerup System also feels like it was inspired by another great shooter, namely Musha. Little pods appear on screen that, when destroyed, release a bunch of small power-up icons, and the more you collect, the stronger you become. When you lose a life, a bunch of these icons are released, so you at least have a chance to power up quickly after dying, which is much appreciated. There's nothing worse than being deep into a shooter and then being returned to your weakest power level. I'm looking at you, Gradius. Finally, probably the most standout feature of this game is the homing laser attacks that are different for each character. By holding down the fire button for a couple of seconds, you can project an energy field from your ship, and anything that enters that field can be locked on and blasted with lasers, even enemies coming from below you. And this immediately reminded me of the homing lasers in Layer Section, aka Galactic Attack, though I think the lasers are actually utilized a bit better here, and like I said, each character has a different range and varying maximum lock-ons. Plus you have super bombs that can be used in a couple of different ways to either clear the screen of enemies and bullets or do a ton of damage to bosses. So with all these things put together, you get a fast-paced, challenging shooter that has you switching between blasting enemies with your main weapon, launching laser attacks, and scrambling to grab power-ups, all while dodging tons of enemy bullets. In short, it's a damn good game. It's really fun, the controls are super smooth, and I'd put it right up there with the best shooters on the system, and that's saying a lot. The graphics and sound design in Soukyugurentai are also really good, again right up there with the best of them. The visual style, I feel, is a little on the bland side in spots, though. Everything looks nice, with a lot of different layers and plenty of detail and color. It's just that some of the locations feel a little bit generic, but then again, this isn't a game set in some fantastic fantasy world. The space levels do look great, though. They're definitely my favorites in the game. The enemy designs are kind of stock too, except for the bosses, which are huge tanks, battleships, and robots that all have a lot of detail and slowly blow apart as the fight goes on. I really love these. That's one way to make me happy. Just give me some huge piece of machinery to blow up. The sound design is great too, but a lot of the music is more subdued than I typically like in my shooters. It actually reminds me a bit of the soundtrack and layer section at times. It's good music, but it can be a little laid back for such an intense game. Definitely not bad though, and some of the tracks do pick up the pace from time to time. Couple that with some great sound effects that are really clear but don't overpower the music, and you've got some overall excellent presentation to go with the outstanding gameplay. This game hadn't been on my radar until recently, but boy am I glad I picked it up. I've been having a really great time with this one. So, as if it wasn't already apparent, I love this game, and I highly recommend it to shooter fans. It's great. At the moment, prices on eBay typically hover somewhere around $60, which definitely isn't cheap. But when compared to games like Radiant Silvergun and Blastwind, it's downright reasonable. I have the feeling the prices are only going to go up though, so if you want to get yourself a copy, there's probably not going to be a better time than now. If you just don't have enough great shooters for that Saturn of yours, then definitely spring for a copy of Soukyugurentai. It's definitely one of the best on the console.